All right, this video is gonna be on TIG welding as a beginner, your first time in our shop using our equipment. So 6061, we have quite a bit of this because robotics using this. This is aluminum, and you'll find a lot of it outside in this messy area here. And then it's a good idea to maybe cut it into 2x4-inch pieces. If you do have to cut some metal, go out here, set this guy to be 4 inches. Okay, about 4 inches like that. And you can put in your metal. And metal here. That's how you can cut your metal into 2x4-inch pieces. Take them out and then put it at 2. All right, next here, you'll see it says TIG machine argon. So this one right here, we're gonna turn this on. And this gauges how much is in the tank. If it's really low, no, you might run out in the middle of class. And then here we wanna have, you know, more than 20 PSI. And it says not to touch this here. All right, this is our little TIG caddy, our kind of organizing system for the torch here. And we're gonna have it from now on where you have to break this down after each use. And the way we have it right now is we have the green tungsten on the left side, the red tip tungsten on the right side. So the green's gonna be for aluminum and the red's gonna be for steel. And if you look closely here at them, they're a bit contaminated. For just practice a beginner, you could use it and it would work fine, but we'll try and clean them up just a little bit here. So now this sign here is a good sign to memorize here. Just some things you need to know about. So again, we're doing aluminum. It's a green tip tungsten. We're doing 1/16 because we're doing some smaller metal here. And basically it says set the machine to alternating current, set high frequency switch to continuous or on, set the remote current and contactor switches to on, turn it on and set to 20 cubic feet an hour. So we'll do it with both machines here. So on this one, this is an older Miller Syncrowave 250, and we're gonna move it to alternating current. So this is the tip, so we're gonna, with the power off, put that in alternating current. Turn it on. And then high frequency. Notice how the line's thick here. That is for steel and stainless steel primarily. And then the thick line is continuous here, as opposed to not being continuous there. So this is more for aluminum, called continuous. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, or that's the only way to do it, but it's the best way for beginners. We're gonna be using our foot pedal here. And for this AC balance switch up here, I would just leave it at about, this one here at about 7. More on that later. And then this is your amperage here. How sensitive is your foot pedal? So if you're doing thin metal, you might be around, you know, 75 to 100-ish. 1/8 metal, maybe 100 to 150-ish. If you put this all the way here, you could TIG weld anything, but your foot pedal would be super sensitive. You put a hole right away in thin stuff. If you put it too low, then you could never get to a puddle. So it takes some practice, but I'd say for our shop, probably around 75 to 150 for the average stuff that we're doing. And gas will keep post flowing after you let up on the foot pedal for a certain amount of time. That's good. So that's enough for that. So the machine is on right now, and now I'm gonna, here's the foot pedal. I'm gonna go down on it, and then we're gonna get the gas to be at 20, the bottom of the ball at 20. So it's too low, right there. Again, press down on the foot pedal to make that go. All right, here we have the Syncrowave 250. It's a little bit newer than that one. And then we have the 350 to the right of this one, and it has all these knobs up here. Here's the start mode right here. You want to have it be in continuous for aluminum. And then here we're on alternating current, which is this wave here. And we're using the foot pedal here, foot pedal there. We're on TIG. And the AC balance, we're gonna set around 7. And the post flow is set at about a quarter or so. And then we have our amperage here, depending on what you're doing. So that's how we set up that machine. And the foot pedal is down there, and the gas is right here.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so this is a 1/16 tungsten. It's the smallest one. There's also, the next size up is 3/32, and then the largest is 1/8 we have here. So I have a 1/16 collet body there, and then we have a 1/16 collet here. As far as the ceramic cups go, there's basically, small, medium, large. We happen to have like a number 4 cup. The next bigger might have is a number 6 or 7, and then a number 8 cup. I'm going to be using that small cup and our back cap. So I'm going to start by just screwing this guy in like this a little bit, and then this collet is going to drop in like that. By the way, it's laser engraved here, really small writing, 1/16. Same with here. Laser engraved right there, so if you can't recognize it, then it is written there for you. This guy here, you can push him this way, or if you needed to, you could push it in this way, but so it's in there. And then the back cap is going to go on the back, and try not to crack it, but if everything's good, this should be, when you do it tight, it should be locked in place. You can't move this. And then finally the ceramic cup goes on last. And now the question is, how far do we stick this out? And a general answer would be half the inside diameter of the ceramic cup. So about a 1/4 inch. For a T-joint, maybe a little more. Okay, and then at the end of each day, we're gonna break it all down and put it back here, there, there, and there. While you're welding though, use this. Don't have it be here because it'll fall down, this could crack off. Yep. What we don't want to see you guys do is just be like, oh, that's contaminated there, so I'm just gonna take it like this and then just break it off and start new. It's pretty wasteful, so we don't want to do that. It's better just to try and clean it off like I showed you, and that'll be good enough for what we're doing right here as a beginner.
Yep.
Okay. What we don't want to see you guys do is just be like, oh, that's contaminated there, so I'm just gonna take it like this and then just break it off and start new. It's pretty wasteful. So we don't want to do that. It's better just to try and clean it off like I showed you, and that'll be good enough for what we're doing right here as a beginner.
Yes.
All right. So don't sharpen the colored end, but we could put it here and twist it around to try and clean it up. We're not gonna have it be a ball in here. We're not going to make it sharp either. Okay, all right, so here's your aluminum. As a beginner, it's a good practice to get the habit of cleaning your metal. So this one here says ALU for aluminum, and so you really don't want to rub this brush on the steel here because it's going to get contaminated. So try to keep your brush only on aluminum here. If I were gonna do a T-joint, I would make sure to get this edge right here really well. So if I was doing a T-joint, I would really try and get that edge and this edge. Really try and get your metal clean from something that hasn't touched steel before. If you really want to do, for practicing I wouldn't do this, but you could use acetone and rub it on your metal to get it even more clean. But it's not necessary as a beginner. It's not necessary. Okay, go ahead and stop. Okay, with the 2x4 inch pieces, I think as a beginner, it's really good for you guys to work on your start and ends. So up here are our filler rods. It'd be really great if you guys put them back in the right container. But here's our aluminum right here. We have 53, 56, so they should be stamped on the end of the filler rod if you have good vision. We have our steel rods and stainless. Some students mix up stainless and aluminum, but it's really important not to do that. We have 3 32nd rods, 1 16th rods, and 1/8 rods. The bottom one I just pushed the puddle. The upper one I was using the dipping of the filler rod. And right about here I started to let up on the foot pedal, up on the foot pedal, up on the foot pedal, and all the way up to turn it off here. So you can see the difference. Both are good practice. Make sure you have the right angle. I'm starting from the left side, and I would put it on here, wait for it to clean the metal a little bit, and I would just go dip, move, dip, move, dip, move, dip, move, like this, dip, move. I'm trying to move that puddle along the way. Another option is just to put the filler rod down. That's probably a better idea. And just try to push the puddle going straight. Do that a couple times. But because you guys have had so much gas welding experience with the filler rod, sooner than later you should take the filler rod. Again, don't touch the filler rod to the tungsten, that's bad. Don't touch the tungsten to the metal, that's also bad. But dip, move like that. That's good. All right, next, I just want you guys to listen to this. This is an example of someone that's not going down on the foot pedal fast enough. So watch your eyes. Hear that sound? Compare that sound with this sound here. So be sure you go down on the foot pedal, rather quickly. You want it to clean a little bit first. Okay, as a beginner, I want you guys to work on your starts and stops. So by welding 2 inches from here to here, you'll have many more starts and stops than you would welding 4 inches. A lot of students, they won't go to the far end. So I would do that, and I would say probably gonna do about 2 passes or so. Then this one's hot, and you should have another one to work on that's cold. This one's now cold. You can do 2 passes on here or so, 2 or 3, and then maybe rotate. So one's cooling off, but the other one is being welded. As far as your angle goes, just like you guys have all practiced on gas welding for a few weeks, so this is the angle, and you want to have the tungsten be as close to the metal as possible. Okay? If you're right-handed, then you're gonna hold it in your right hand, and you're gonna start on the right side, and you're gonna weld from right to left all the way. I think that if your hand is off the ground, if it's off the ground like this, that you're gonna have a harder time than if you decide to rest your hand on the table and kind of pivot your wrist, or I think you're gonna have a better time with your hand on the table.